a mystery that won't go away. A plane from the presidency of the Republic was just seen landing in the United States, right? Arriving in the United States. Many are saying it could be Alckmin, the team there, and so on, put together by Lula to try mysteriously to cover things up. Just like the unexpected meeting that happened, which they tried to say was wonderful. But now a new factor has come up, and if it's Alckmin who's on that aircraft, he's going to have to explain it to Rubio. A sanctioned Iranian plane landed in Brazilian waters, in Santa Catarina. Again, back in 2023, my friends, we saw 2 warships were also sanctioned. They docked there in Rio de Janeiro. In fact, several members of the Workers' Party socialized with those individuals who were on board and so on. It caused a stir. Now it's happening again. What's the fact here? They're going to try in every way to put the blame on President Bolsonaro now as well. Because yesterday Haddad was trembling, saying that Brazil's economic situation is like this only because of Bolsonaro. Look how outrageous it is, and how cowardly. But let's see now, because this news just arrived here. The ship from Iran just arrived, sanctioned by OFEC in Brazilian waters, docking over there in Santa Catarina. I'll show everything here. Hit that like button, smash that like button, come join our family by subscribing to the channel. Guys, check this out. There are a bunch of cowards who obviously will try to put all the blame on Bolsonaro for their failures. That's the tactic. Working with polls, the most bizarre manipulation went wrong. Blame Bolsonaro. Bolsonaro hasn't been president for 3 months now.
There was an understanding that the Internal Revenue Service would have a lot of difficulty collecting for the past because the previous government, as you know, didn't collect the taxes that were owed.
Yeah, man. They try to convince us. Check this out, that a government that doesn't charge taxes like this one, actually, right? That reduces, that eliminates, that makes the life of Brazilians much easier. This government is bad, and this one here, look, that you're seeing is good. It's unbelievable, unbelievable. Did you see yesterday that every poll they release ends up falling apart? Because yesterday, everything that happened was spectacular. I was having a little problem here dealing with some settings issues. Yesterday, I ended up delaying the videos and today as well. But now everything is back to normal, all set. Look at how many people the right. No one takes this, not to mention artists, right? In that barbarity we saw on a weekday, all of this here in the streets, there are even other images here with Michele Bolsonaro. Isn't it speaking?
This that we are living through, dear ones, all this humiliation, plus that ankle monitor.
And this humiliation is not about us. It's not about Jair Messias Bolsonaro.
It's about a system that has been persecuting good men, men who haven't committed any crime.
And we will remain standing. We will keep fighting for our nation. We will declare in the Brazilian capital that Brazil belongs to the Lord Jesus.
Where the laws are made, this nation belongs to the Lord Jesus, and we will not.
Michele speaking, right?
This nation belongs to the Lord Jesus, and we will not.
So that there may be peace within the walls of Jerusalem. Whoever blesses will be blessed.
It was quite a journey, wasn't it? It featured several right-wing figures. It was beautiful and wonderful, just so you can see. You can release the Quest poll as much as you want, Quest. It doesn't show these images, right? But okay, here's the thing, right? Their cowardice is so great. Now this information has come out. Here, Iranian ships sanctioned by Office of Foreign Assets Control docked in Santa Catarina. Let's see how Trump will react to this. You can be sure there will be some heavy fire coming. Oh, look at what happened. Claudio Dantas had revealed that Brazilian importers were circumventing international sanctions to import urea directly from Iran, which is already the third largest supplier of the input to Brazil. With no institutional response to curb the practice, the Lula government's complicity becomes evident. Shipments are becoming increasingly frequent. Just like what's happening right now at the Santa Catarina port terminal, where the ship Del Ruba, flying the Iranian flag, has docked. The cargo ship is subject to secondary sanctions by Office of Foreign Assets Control, the agency that monitors the enforcement of sanctions imposed by the United States government. This sanction is similar to the Magnitsky Act, like the one Moraes faced, just so you know. It's that same story. Whoever does business with sanctioned individuals ends up being sanctioned as well. Later, it won't help to blame Bolsonaro, saying it was Bolsonaro's fault, it's Bolsonaro here. They're cowards. We know that very well. Customs documents obtained by the report showed that the 60,000-ton shipment of urea comes from Partis Petrochemical, which is also sanctioned by the United States and is imported by the Brazilian company Link Commercial via Eastol Petroleum Products, based in the United Arab Emirates, Weapons Petroleum Products. The use of a third company to carry out the business has become the modus operandi of several Brazilian importers to try to avoid financial sanctions and not deal directly with Iranian banks or traders. The risk of secondary sanctions, however, remains even in the case of supply by Petrobras. According to Office of Foreign Assets Control, any private or state agent that does business with the Iranian state company runs the risk of being punished with secondary sanctions. The sanctions can also be extended to banks used for commercial transactions, to the buyers of the cargo in Brazil, and to the Brazilian government itself. Here it is, the document. Islamic Republic of Iran, as it was done and negotiated. Great report by Claudio Dantas. Partis Petrochemical is a subsidiary of the National Petrochemical Company linked to the Ministry of Oil, accused of financing the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, designated by the White House as a terrorist organization. In June, Israel and the United States bombed the nuclear military facilities in Iran. Lula criticized the action. At the last United Nations Assembly, Batista harshly criticized the United States and Israel, and the Brazilian delegation walked out during Benjamin Netanyahu's speech. It's obvious that Lula is going to criticize. Lula loves a dictatorial country, and if there's even a hint of terrorism, then even more so. Now, this information has just arrived. If Claudio Dantas had access to this, I imagine that Marco Rubio also already has all this information in his hands. And then we get to this point here. The plane that ended up arriving there in the United States, look, it was completely secret. Nobody reported it. What was the reason for this presidential plane to arrive there in the United States? Some say it could be Geraldo Alckmin, that Mauro Vieira guy, and so on. Look at this meme people are sharing. How to trick a former convict over the phone? It could be that. They might already be there because it's obvious, right? They won't be broadcasting a meeting with Rubio and all that. If we find out anything, it'll be through Eduardo Paulo Figueiredo, or if not, through Marco Rubio's team. In Brazil, when news comes out, it's always, no, it was a success. Notice that Marco Rubio decided to lift all the sanctions, but nothing, absolutely nothing will be lifted, and so on. That's the narrative they'll push, just like claiming Lula won over Trump, or that Lula is Trump's best friend. They release a poll, but when Lula visits, almost no one shows up. These are some polls that we notice, right? That don't match what they're saying. No matter how much they try to say they're super popular. Lula was in Imperatriz in Maranhão just recently, at the beginning of the week. And look at the video here. Let's watch the video here.
Look, it's 2:15 in the afternoon, October 6th, Monday. Police already waiting.
There was no one. There were a lot of police cars. He's going to enter the airport. Look, he enters the airport, you'll see a difference between Lula and Bolsonaro.
He went inside the airport. No one came, my God.
There's not a single living soul in the airport. We usually say that at least there are a handful of people here, like 3 or 4 people. This time there was no one. Consider the narrative. This is a narrative. And now with Francisco Melo, you will see President Bolsonaro. Months ago, before Moraes had made him a political hostage.
Now see the huge difference when it's Bolsonaro visiting our beloved city.
The same city, place, and airport. Almost the same, right? Almost the same Bolsonaro. Months ago, Lula was here on Monday. Guys, it's revolting, I know it is, but they're going to work with this until the electoral process comes around. Because obviously they have the machine in their hands and they have the whole system in their hands. And when we talk about the system, you understand very well the people involved who give all the safe conduct. They arrested Bolsonaro precisely because of that. So they can push the narrative that Lula is now popular. Fighting with Trump's tariffs there, that's what caused his popularity. It's a blatant lie. Which is obvious, that's a fact. They will use Globo in every way to say it. No, yes. Lula is now Trump's best friend. Calm down, there's the Hunter's Day and the Hunted's Day. And we'll see who ends up looking like a liar in just a few days. Because in the same week, on the same day that Moraes' wife was added to the Magnitsky list, and also Moraes' law firm, they lost 150 million reais in business. The next day, at a meeting with Trump, they stopped mentioning the wife and claimed Lula was now Trump's best friend. Man, they're way too predictable. Share this video on WhatsApp, Telegram, Facebook, and smash that like button. Subscribe to join our family. I'll return soon with more news and updates on the Pais e Filhos channel.